My name is Damien Rogers and I'm a senior lecturer here at the Centre for Defence and Security Studies of Massey University. I teach courses on security studies, emerging security issues in the Asia Pacific region and international armed conflict. I'm also one of the co-organisers of the Massey University Global Summit. In particular, I've written this scenario and I'll be on hand to support the students as they work their way through the gameplay. The Global Summit is a scenario-based role-playing activity where students will become representatives of various countries as members of the Security Council. Each student will receive a set of specific instructions from their capital, and the Council will be convened in order to respond to a situation in the Middle East. Make no mistake, the situation in the Middle East is very serious. As I'm sure many of you are aware, the Arab Spring, which started in Tunisia, spread across North Africa, but when it confronted the Syrian regime, it was met with bloodshed, mass violence, and resulted in mass migration to Europe. We essentially have a state of civil war in Syria and a situation very close to civil war in Iraq. There are a number of tools that the Security Council has at its disposal as it seeks to maintain international peace and security in the region. The first thing that the Security Council can do is issue a condemnation of the parties to the conflict. It could also issue sanctions to any of the parties to the conflict, or it could send in a peacekeeping operation, or it could refer the entire situation to the International Criminal Court at The Hague. There is essentially a state of civil war in Syria and pretty close to that in Iraq. Both governments have used armed force against their civilians, and there's pretty good evidence to suggest that the Syrian regime has used chemical weapons against its own civilians. Actors beyond the region are very concerned by what's going on in the Middle East at the moment. Russia and China, for example, are allies of the Syrian regime. The United States of America has oil interests in Iraq and the broader region, and one of its key allies, Israel, is of course located in the Middle East too. Global civil society, so non-governmental organisations such as Human Rights Watch and International Crisis Group, are also concerned and are writing reports on the many human rights violations they see being committed. So the action taken by the Security Council to date has been pretty modest. When we take into account the escalating body count from this conflict, we might even use the words lamentable or woeful. Now, one of the reasons for this is that China and Russia, who, as I've mentioned, are allies to the Syrian regime, use their veto to paralyse the Security Council when it's looking to take action. While independent countries or representatives on the Security Council might be free to voice their country's position, the collective response has been very, very weak. And that is the challenge. So this is a situation where the traditional methods of the Security Council are failing. So it's up to a new generation of potential leaders to think outside the box and come up with novel solutions to one of the world's most urgent and pressing security challenges.